And there we are, Susan Michel. This mic is all yours.
Hi, this is Susan Michel. I am here in Western Massachusetts. It's great to be here as always. I am the author of Surrender to Joy from Suicide to Serenity. I have my book right here. It has a beautiful butterfly on the cover. I'm noticing butterflies lately. It's Surrender to Joy from Suicide to Serenity. I teach the transformational truth of A Course in Miracles, which we are all here to study, to learn, to embody the knowledge of. And I have my good friend and soul sister, Myrna Skoller. She is the author of Private Lessons with Jesus that I love, love, love. It is a great companion to the Course in Miracles workbook for students. And I love her book. I love her. How are you doing today, Myrna?
Love you too. I missed you Friday. Did you have a nice weekend?
Amazing, actually. It
Were
was really
you on the boat?
amazing.
Were you on the
No,
boat? Yeah.
I did not go on the boat. I went to Long Island and my friend's daughter got married, and it was probably the most beautiful wedding I've ever attended. It was just so wonderful. That's where I was over the weekend. So, uh, how are you doing today, Myrna?
Wonderful. After a very nice weekend too. Very relaxing, restful, and fun. We went to a dance, actually, Pat and I, at a community called Vocal West, where they have that every year. They call it a snowball wedding, where everybody's in white. It was very nice. It really was. Being together with people that we know and love, and it was lovely. An end to a beautiful summer, and yet at the same time, look how fast it went, didn't it? Didn't it go fast?
Well, when you say summer is coming to an end in Florida, I feel like it doesn't really come to an end because your whole year is summer. Here in
Mm.
Massachusetts, when comes to an end, it gets very cold and then we get snow. But I feel like life in Florida is like a never-ending summer.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Truthfully, you're right. You know,
Hmm.
I always love to say every night is Saturday night and every day is Sunday. That's what
Hmm.
happens. I can experience that here in Florida. It's all very much the same, yet it's nice. I like the sameness. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds fabulous. So I will start with the introduction of my book. As I like to recite, I again have been listening to Course in Miracles on Audible off and on all morning, and it's just so beautiful. I mean, it really is. It's just so beautiful. You and I have both been studying the text for about 35 years now. And, you know, it's just when you can live and you can feel the course, it's just a wonderful mindset to reside in. In the introduction, I state, my passion is God. God is love and joy and beauty. He is all that is good in the world. Everything else is our own miscreation. When we are filled with joy, we are connected to God. When we are not joyful, we have lost our connection to all that is real. This is my message. It can be clarified with three simple words: surrender to joy. There is nothing to find. All we need to do is surrender. And I really had myself plugged into my God socket, as I phrase it, yesterday. it was just really so miraculous when I'm able to just fully connect to that energy. As I said, the weekend that I had with my husband in Long Island was amazingly beautiful. My friend's daughter got married, and there was so much love in the air. It's just so wonderful in a way how weddings just focus on love and beauty and connection. And it's interesting because, on one hand, our happiness cannot be found in another person. But on the other hand, we can't get to heaven alone. We need each other to really connect to that energy of unconditional love. So it's interesting how that works. I guess true connection is about transforming a special relationship, which is based on need, to a holy relationship, which is based on love. And the wedding that I attended was very religious. I think my girlfriend's daughter is very religious right now. There was a lot of what was stated from the pastor that I loved. One message that the pastor had is that it's very important to be there to love and support your partner. However, it's equally important to put God first, and I love that. That's very Course in Miracles. You know, I had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And then on the boat yesterday, Monday, Labor Day, I did go out with my husband and a friend of ours on the boat. And I really just connected to like that energy of love. And I love when I'm able to just feel that energy of God. And we were riding down the river, and my husband had this song on the radio, or we have a speaker on the boat, and it was all about romantic love. And the song was about not being made a fool of, so I guess the mentality of the song is you don't want to love someone and not be loved back, because if you love someone and they don't love you back, well, then according to this song, the one who loves more is the fool. And I just started thinking about that, from a Course in Miracles perspective. And I started saying to myself, well, that makes no sense, because I guess the song was talking about special love. But from a Course in Miracles perspective, when I can love my partner totally and completely, whether he loves me back or not, I'm the winner, because God's love is total and complete. And if I can love you completely, then I can feel how much love I have inside to give. So I could never, ever be made a fool of, even if that love is not reciprocated. So I'm going to ask you for thoughts, if you don't mind, Myrna. So, I mean, you think about it, like from a Course in Miracles perspective, it's like the more I can love my brother, again, whether it's romantic, whether it's platonic, but the more I can love my brother, well, the more I feel the love of God. and whether he loves me back equally or not at all, I mean, that really doesn't matter because we don't know how much we have inside of us until we give it away. If we want to get something, we don't go out there and try to grab whatever we can find. If we want to get something, if we want to feel something, what we need to do is give it away. So the one that loves the most, I mean, those are the ones that feel the truth of who they are. Those are the ones that feel, the unconditional love of their father, because we don't know how much we have inside of us until we give that away. Any thoughts, Myrna?
You just said unconditional love, which really reflects the Course in Miracles. What is love? Love, is all about giving it away, extending it, and not expecting anything back. Yes, we all want to be loved, but I think that if we extend love, it automatically comes back because people can't help but love us back for the most part. You talk about weddings. I had been to a couple of wonderful weddings too of young people, and I couldn't help but sort of compare how weddings are today as opposed to when I first got married so many years ago. Weddings were just then. We didn't really express vows. Yes, we listened to the sermon. We kind of were nervous. At least I'm kind of expressing my own feelings at the time. Was I doing it right? How did I look? Was my dress just perfect? Today, it just seems that, what I seem to focus on at these weddings is the unconditional love that these couples seem to feel for each other. Was my granddaughter's wedding was last September. And the vows that are taken, the way they speak to each other, there's a whole lot of freedom today that goes along with the wedding vows that are expressed, because it's not just about, yes, we're getting married and there's nothing, then we'll just figure it out later. It seems that these kids, I call them kids, these young people that are getting married, seem to have it figured out. And I very much enjoyed both weddings, I'm sure, as you did as well. And again, you go back to unconditional love. Unconditional love is just to understand, to try to love the way God loves. And the way we can do that is through peace, the peace of God. And the peace of God, I think we can experience the peace of God once we've experienced what true forgiveness is. So I think it comes in steps. Forgiveness is so much a part of the peace that we need to feel that comes along with what we strive for. Again, I speak for myself, striving for peace. To me, peace must be everlasting, and we seem to fall off that, off the wagon. We're feeling peace and we're thinking, isn't it wonderful? I really, this is what peace is all about. But unless we can experience it in a way that it's unconditional and it's lasting, it really isn't peace at all. And again, we go back to forgiveness, because if we can forgive completely and wholly, then we're not at war. How can a mind at war be peaceful? So to forgive is to relinquish that and to understand that we are given the power, the thoughts that we need that bring us to this, what we strive for. And what are the thoughts? The thoughts are really just try to let the world slip away. We talk about meditation. If any way that we can let the world just slip away and be in the moment is really the way to strive to stay in that place, to be completely just aware of what we really want, how important it is. And to me, it's become so important. The peace that I feel through the elements which I study through the Course in Miracles, the principles of the Course in Miracles, is so important because it's taught me so much. And the way that I know that I've learned so much is because I feel so differently today than I did some, yesterday even. The past is the past. So it's really the present that brings us the completeness, because when we're in the present, then that's where everything is, everything, all wholeness, all love, everything that we want to experience is in the present moment, not in the past, because the past really doesn't bring us peace. Does the future bring us peace? No, it's being in the current moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. God's peace is with me always. All I need to do is open my heart to accept his love and trust his guidance, because God is always speaking to me. But in order to hear him, I have to quiet my mind and listen to his guidance. We can't hear God's guidance or the Holy Spirit's guidance when, as you just said, we're lamenting over the past, worried about the future. The only way we can hear God is when we're fully present in the moment, right here, right now. And in order to be fully present in the moment, we need to release the past and stop looking to the future. I mean, actually, worrying about the future is detrimental, but even focusing on good things to come in the future is keeping us from our present circumstance. And the only time that we can hear God is when we are fully present right here, right now, and when we can allow ourselves to be fully present in whatever circumstance that we're in. That's really helps us to trust that God has our future under control. God has our back. We need not, worry. We don't have to plan. We can just be fully present in the moment and feel God's peace right here, right now. And what that really does, because energy creates energy. So when we're fully connected to the present moment, when we're fully plugged into our God socket, it's an elevated energetic state. So once we reside in this high frequency energy, which is based on unconditional love, this is what we are going to draw to us in the future anyway. So again, it's a constant discipline. It can be challenging because the world is run on the egoic thought system, which is based on fear. So it can be challenging, but it's really not difficult, because when we are afraid, we are actually going against the truth of who we are, because the truth of who we are is at peace. The truth of who we are is connected to peace, love, joy, and happiness. And today's lesson is lesson 245. If you're going by the lesson of the year, it's the 245th day of 2025. And today's lesson is just owning the truth of who we are, owning the peace of God. The subject states, "Your peace is with me, Father. I am safe." Any one lesson can bring us home to heaven if we digest it fully and completely, if we own it, if we embody it, not just intellectually understand it, but if we can feel, what it is encouraging us to feel, we can feel the truth of who we are. And what Jesus writes here, he writes, "Your peace surrounds me, Father. Where I go, your peace goes there with me. It sheds its light on everyone I meet. I bring it to the desolate and lonely and afraid. I give your peace to those who suffer pain or grieve for loss or think they are bereft of hope and happiness. Send them to me, my Father. Let me bring your peace with me, for I would save your son as is your will, that I may come to recognize myself." Again, A Course in Miracles is telling us that God has but one son, and we're all part of the same sonship, and we need each other to get home to heaven. So if my brother is suffering and I can remind him of the Christ consciousness that he's a part of, I'm bringing that same peace to my own mind. A Course in Miracles clearly states we need each other to get home to heaven, and the pain is not real. So if my brother is experiencing pain, he is in a state that is illusory. He is experiencing darkness, but darkness is an illusion. So as a Course in Miracles student, if I can remind him of his truth, well, then I can remember that same peace, love, joy, and happiness is available inside of me. So it's a win-win. We all need each other to remind each other about the truth of who we are. So, and then the second paragraph in today's lesson states, "And so we go in peace. To all the world, we give the message that we have received. And thus we come to hear the voice for God, who speaks to us as we relate his word, whose love we recognize because we share the word that he has given unto us." So it's like, as we give, we learn. As we teach, we learn. If I want to feel love, what I need to do is not go out into the world and get other people to love me. That's what so many of us have a tendency to do. But if I want to feel love, what I need to do is I need to give it away. It's so simple, right? If I feel there's a lack of love, what do? Love your brother. Love the next person that you come in contact with. And the high that we get from that is so just amazing. That's what takes us out of this world into the kingdom of heaven. I had another experience this week, yesterday on the boat, where one of the people in my life that seems to challenge me on a pretty consistent basis, my sister, we had a wonderful conversation. And then I told her that I loved her, and she said it back. And it was just so beautiful, because she rarely tells me that she loves me. And when she said to me that she loved me, I mean, it was just so beautiful. grateful because I know she does love me, even though she doesn't say it that often. But the truth is, we both love each other very much. And to feel that love, to embody that love, to extend that love and receive, allow yourself to receive that love from another person, it's just so amazing, and I could feel that it was God's love that we exchanged yesterday, my sister and I, and it was just so beautiful. I remember in the past, the only kind of love that I thought could satisfy me was romantic love. I was always trying to get romantic love, but now I realize romantic, platonic, it doesn't matter. It's love which heals. There's no difference between romantic love and platonic love. Love is love. And when I can extend love to my brother, when I can receive the love of God, that's where my true happiness lies. Any thoughts on that, Myrna?
Everything is said about love, really hit home because we do want to feel love. And we do want to experience love. And the very fact that, you could say it, I find that I say it a lot. I have a wonderful relationship with my two daughters, which has really come full circle. I mean, in the past, there were ups and downs and so forth, and I think I even spoke about those. But today, we've really come full circle, and we've met to the point where we always say that to each other. I love you. I love you. My two daughters really were estranged for a while from each other. As kids, I remember growing up, they never got along, but I always knew that they loved each other because they always sort of connected back to each other. And this has also been a whirlwind with my two daughters, watching them, kind of ebb and flow and so forth. And but now it's as if the three of us have connected to a point where the expressive quality of the word love really comes to life because it's wonderful. I love saying it and I love hearing it. I say it to them all the time and they tell me back, I love you. So love is a very strong emotion. But when you can express it, even with the word, it's really so powerful. I think it's wonderful. When we talked about weddings, I went to this wedding where my two daughters were, and I caught a glimpse of them hugging. So, as you say, a sister is a sister. You can kind of trigger each other and not get along and have problems, but the connection is greater than anything else. And what is the connection that we all feel that brings us all together? It's love. That's what it is. And once we get rid of the dogma, the feelings that that we think that we need things from each other, that we need agreement from one another. Once we kind of get past the nitty gritty, and focus on what love really is, it is unconditional. It has to be, because if it's not unconditional, it isn't love. And that's something that we need to, I think, come to know. The unconditional power that we're given to feel. And even in today's lesson, you read today's lesson. I love reading the lessons. The lessons are always, we can read them over and over and over again, and we're always picking up greater understandings, even in simple words that we've heard 1,000 times. That comes to light. And this lesson tells me too how much power that we're given. So because right here in the first paragraph, God is saying that we need to say to our brothers, let me bring your peace with me, for I would save your son, God's son, my brothers and sisters. I would save your son, as is your will, that I may come to recognize myself. And so it has to be shared. We can't experience love alone. It has to be, experienced on a level when other people are, sharing it, and we can extend it as well. This past weekend was also wonderful. I told you about this dance we went to, but it was really so interesting because there were couples from various different cultures, and we got very close uh, just by, seeing each other every so often. This friend of ours really got to know these people first. One couple is from Pakistan, the other couple is from India, and the third couple is from Thailand. What a great group it is. And we, again, no matter what culture, you come from separate cultures. It's all one. It's all experienced as one love. It's only one universal love. So that's really how I can explain how do I feel about love, the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel very differently than when I thought I knew love, but now understanding the unconditional aspect of love is very, very important. Right, Susan?
Right, Myrna. Yeah, we can feel the love of God when our mind is at peace. We can feel the truth of who we are. And we don't have the need to point out the errors in our brother. I just thought of an example. I really felt connected to the truth of who I was on the boat yesterday. I was just plugged into my God socket, when I got back into the car. I put on my wedding song by the Carpenters, which is all about, beginning again with your true partner. But instead of thinking about romantic love, I actually envisioned beginning life again with God's love. Oh, so powerful. So powerful when you can listen to one of these romantic love songs, and instead of feeling that the lack or the void can be completed through a man's love, when you just allow yourself to depend upon God's love and envision the love that the song is singing about as God singing that song to you, like it's such an empowering feeling because it's not about anything of the earth. It's that love is coming from truth. That love is coming from source. I mean, self-love is the greatest love at all, of all, because we can't give away anything that we do not feel. So I was listening to this Carpenter song, feeling so, connected to God. And it was very beautiful. It was very, very beautiful. And then this was interesting. So on the way home, I had to stop at the supermarket. So I picked up a few food items and I went to the cashier to check out. I put the food items, on the cashier's table. And what she proceeded to do while I was checking out is she like turned her head away from me and she had a conversation with the cashier next to her. So she completely ignored me and started talking to the girl, in the next line. And I was a little offended just because, she wasn't present with me. She was talking to someone else. But I decided that I was just going to be present and let God handle the situation. And again, I know this is a tiny little example, But what so I kind of prayed in my mind and gave it to God. And at the end of her cashing me out, without me saying a word, she says, "I'm so sorry. I know I was rude and I shouldn't have been rude. Please forgive me." And then she started talking to me, and so she just, you know, apologized without me getting angry. I guess that's my point, because we can't control what other people do. But if we pray and we give each situation to God and refrain from anger, it wasn't even though externally I had to stop myself from getting angry. Internally, I wasn't even angry. I realized that she wasn't being respectful of me, the customer, but I didn't get angry about it. I gave it to God, and then she apologized, and it was all good. And again, I know that's a simple little example, and people can do much worse and ignore you while you're cashing out your groceries. But whatever people do, if it comes from fear or is disrespectful in any way, if we could just not take it personally and love them anyway, God has it all under control. We just have to trust him. I truly believe that everything in life is a lesson. And as you so often say, Myrna, everything in life is a lesson or a blessing. The lessons are important, and the blessings are there for us to enjoy, because when we can truly surrender to the joy that we are all born with, that's what enables us to be a conduit for God's divine miracles. God's will for me is perfect happiness. I can only hear God speak to me when my mind is at peace. So it's just at each and every moment, just, I guess, be fully present and pray. I remember I went to the Unity Church for years and years and years, and they had this theme song that we would sing. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you are saying. So it's like we are always creating our own reality. So it's very important to be aware of the thoughts that are in our mind. Thoughts, Myrna? Oh,
Yeah.
one thing I want to do before I ask you your thoughts is I want to read the chats. I'm sorry. I wanted to do that earlier. But this is from Robert Dino James, and that's so wise and so profound. I love what you write, Robert. Thank you so much. I need do nothing. Giving love is as simple as being love, which is what I am and you are. Very beautiful. I have the same feelings from Bryan Adams' song, "Everything I do for you." Very nice. Myrna?
Yeah, I also let music really get into my soul. I mean, as you say, romantic songs are the best. In fact, just last night, before I went to bed, I listened to two of my favorite. One is Don Williams. I believe in you. No, I'm sorry. I think that was Mike and the Mechanics. Mike and the Mechanics is The Living Years. Yes, The Living Years is Mike and the Mechanics, and Don Williams is I Believe in You. And those words, the song, the music, the tempo, I mean, it's just so whatever puts you in that state of oneness, of love, is worth it. It's just, worth pursuing, doing it. Just do it. If it gives you peace, why refrain from it? And yeah, I've gotten into the habit really of listening to nice music. I do it in the morning, in fact. When I swim every morning in my pool, and I just turn on the music that I have. I listen to Pandora. Pandora is well, actually, it's not a station; it's an app, and you can get just about anything on Pandora. Any musician, any musical group, whatever. So I really enjoy kind of adhering to the music that gives me peace. Um, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. Uh, yeah, we want to be in that frame of mind. We want to be in that feeling of complete love and wholeness. We want to feel the peace that, I mean, everybody wants peace. And yes, yet it seems to me that it seems to be a very hard thing to latch on to, when it really should be the easiest thing, because all we have to do is just relinquish the fear, the hate, anything that kind of clouds our mind with anything other than love, is really fear. So it's just a matter of working at it, wanting it enough to have it, to keep it. And then all sorts of wonderful things happen. Because without fear, my God, I mean, I have nothing to fear. I think to myself, and I do speak to Jesus a lot. I mean, you talk about getting the answers. All we need to do is ask, and the answers do come. When I relate to Jesus, that that you know image, I guess you might say, that I have come to connect to and love more than anything, more than anything. And in fact, not long ago, I was complaining to Jesus that I was feeling a little bit fearful, not knowing why I was feeling fearful. And the answer was, "Why are you fearful? You're the luckiest woman in the world." Yeah, okay, I am the luckiest woman in the world. Why? Because I have everything that I want. I want nothing more than what I have. I'm so grateful to the universe for bestowing everything that I want, that I need. I have no other needs. I've come to realize that. So I think that if we can say that and truly embody that, then what is there to fear? So that became very clear to me. So again, through whether it be through music, whether it be through connecting to the power within me, which connects me to it, all things that are within me to feel. The love of God basically is really what it is that I long for, always did. And when I can feel it and then extend it, it makes me feel truthfully that I really have been given everything that I want and need. Do you feel that way, Susan?
Oh, yeah, I do. I do. I love what you said, Myrna. And I went into Course in Miracles to find different sentences that speak about that. Whenever our mind is fearful, we are disconnected from the truth of who we are. We're in an illusory state, uh, and we can't hear God. We're blocking his love. Our fear is just like dark clouds that don't allow the sun to shine. So, a course cannot teach us the meaning of love, because love is who and what we are. A course can point out the errors in our thinking, so we can choose to give those misthoughts to the Holy Spirit, who can help us to rectify our state of mind. It says right here in the introduction, It says right here in the introduction of A Course in Miracles, the Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. Is beautiful, because when we feel love, we're not intellectually reciting the definition of love, which, to be honest, I'm not even sure what that is. I should ask ChatGPT, what is the definition of love? We're just feeling that love, for me, it's in my heart chakra, and it's so beautiful. But A Course in Miracles can't teach me that. That's just the truth of who I am. And then it says here in the next line, it does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So love's presence is my natural inheritance. When I am expressing God's love, which is also my own love, I am remembering the truth of who I am. I was created in God's image. I did not create myself. God created me in his image. So when I am aligned with the truth of who I am, I love. I mean, that's what I was born to do. I was born to love, so when we are feeling loving, when we are feeling good, we are in our right mind. And fear, which is operating strongly in this world as we are experiencing it today, is a big fat lie. It's not who we are, and it just feels so bad, and fear and pain of any kind is not of God. And we are also, this is another paragraph that I found in the beginning of A Course in Miracles in chapter 2, is that fear not affect us. We don't have to take it seriously. It says here, in reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. So just like my little simple example, I was in the grocery store line and the cashier was ignoring me, talking to the cashier in the next lane. Like, I didn't have to take that personally. I mean, you can even go to another example where someone is being much more disrespectful than that, and we don't have to take it personally. We can be completely unaffected by all expressions of fear. So in reality, you are perfectly unaffected by all expressions of lack of love. These can be from yourself and others, from yourself to others, or from others to you. Peace is an attribute in you. You cannot find it outside. Illness is some form of external searching. Health is inner peace. So we are unaffected by all expressions of lack of love, and peace. We can't get peace from any form of external searching. Peace, in order to find the peace that we crave, we kind of have to connect to it on the inside first. That's why it's so great. You said, I think last week, Myrna, that you started meditating. I'm actually taking a break from meditating, but I think I'm going to go back to it pretty soon, because meditation is a great way of connecting to the peace that resides in each and every one of us. We can't find that peace in the world. We have to find that peace on the inside. And once we find it on the inside, we can extend it to the world. That's the phrase, be still and know that I am God. When our mind is still, we can feel that peace that resides within us. And when you just connect to that peace, I call it peace, love, joy, and happiness. It's just such a beautiful state of mind to reside in. And nothing of the world has the power to take that peace away from us. It's just so beautiful. Here is another line that my eyes just went to. This is on the next page over. It says here, true denial is a powerful protective device. You can and should deny any belief that error can hurt you, right? So if my brother says something to me that is disrespectful, condescending, demeaning, I don't have to take it personally. Most of the time, stuff like that, or if not all of the time, it's no reflection on me. There is just some fear that my brother is dealing with, and he's trying to project his fear onto me. But I certainly don't have to take it personally. I love that. True denial is a powerful protective device. If it's not love, it's not real. All fear is illusory. And the more of us that can really like tap into that unconditionally loving mindset, the closer we are all to that heavenly state. The Course in Miracles says that at some point in time, the earth is going to dissolve, or I can't remember how it's phrased, but it's going to pass away. But when the earth just passes away, we're all going to reside in heaven. We're going to reside in a mindset of unconditional love, and we're gonna go around extending love to each other all day long, right? How are you? I love you. I love you too. Wouldn't that be a beautiful world to reside in? Any thoughts on that, Myrna?
Yeah, well, you read the introduction before, and when you think about it, just page one, the introduction. If you could just read the introduction and get it from that, then you've absorbed the whole course in itself. You talk about love. This course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So again, I guess we're so full of the quagmire that fills up within us, that really hides love, and it's not, and it's no surprise, really, when you think about it. I mean, the gold thought system is full of anything but everything but love, really, when you think about it. And occasionally it'll throw us a bone and saying, yes, you are feeling love. But that's not love. What true love is there. It's already there. It's not something that we need to learn. It's something that's there. We just have to remove all the junk that piles up, that really prevents us from understanding and knowing what true love is. And to know true love is to just let it happen, let it be, and there's nothing more that we have to do. So I kind of love that. We go through all these 1,288 pages, and we really try so hard to stay within the teachings of A Course in Miracles, when really we know it all, we have it all. We just have to experience it. And it's like you said, you can't take things personally, because that's not what love is, or forgiveness or peace is all about. by not taking anything personally, recognizing it's somebody else's pain that they're trying to project onto you. And the only way that I think you can kind of disarm it is by not reacting, which took me a long time to also understand and realize. Stop reacting, Myrna. Stop reacting. Um, and it's a huge step when we understand that we don't take anything like that personally. So I like that you brought that up. And again, I went back to the beginning of the Course in Miracles. The introduction says it all.
Very well said, Myrna. We all do know the truth, A Course in Miracles basically is taking the role of leading us all to our internal teacher. So we can listen directly to what our internal teacher or the Holy Spirit is guiding us to do. Here in the preface, and I've always loved this about A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles doesn't want me to become dependent upon this book. A Course in Miracles wants to direct me to my own internal teacher so I can live life with the mindset of love. That's what Jesus Christ learned to do when he was here on this earthly plane. He learned to listen directly to the guidance of his true nature, which is the guidance of God. That's why he said over and over that I and my Father are one. Not only is that true for Jesus Christ, it is true for each and every one of us. Jesus was just one of the very first people to embody that state of mind. So it says here in the preface, the Course makes no claim to finality, nor are the workbook lessons intended to bring the student's learning to completion. At the end, the reader is left in the hands of his or her own internal teacher, who will direct all subsequent learning as he sees fit. So A Course in Miracles is guiding us to our own internal teacher. And that is what Jesus learned to do when he was here in his body form. And that is what Jesus is teaching us to do, through the writings of A Course in Miracles. And also I know that he speaks to you directly, Myrna, and I think that's so very beautiful that you can hear him and you can hear his guidance, and he's available to all of us when we just open our mind and our heart to hear what he is instructing us to do, because God's will for me is my will for myself. God doesn't want anything from me that I don't want for myself. There is no sacrifice, to connect to God. Sacrifice in any form is not of God. So the truth is just so very beautiful. Any final thoughts, Myrna?
Yeah, Robert posted here what an emotional shock to find out our living years were really our dead ones, that life returns in waking. It's so true that life returns in waking up. And for me, I really get into that song. There's one line that I wasn't there when my father passed away, but I thought I caught his spirit in my baby's newborn tears. And I wish I had told him in the living years. I get chills just relating to that song and those words. So yeah, say it loud, say it clear, because you're only going to have one chance this life to say it. So thanks for that. I love that song.
Well, thank you. And I love you. And thank you, Robert, for your very wise shares. And as A Course in Miracles says, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you. And I will now return the microphone to Lynn.
Thank you guys so much. And I so appreciate you both. Lovely, lovely to share your lives with you.